6 months old. Yay! Today's video is all about breastfeeding and formula feeding and baby feeding. Wilson prefers this side over this side, which is why this side is so large and luscious and this side hiding its light under a bushel. So I'm gonna start him on this side. Wilson doesn't prefer this side, so he's gonna pretend he doesn't see it. Where is it? I don't know. Oh, is it out the window? Oh, you really can't find it? Oh gosh. Grab hold. That's my arm. All right. This is a very official video about breastfeeding from an expert on breastfeeding. I'm not an expert. I have breastfed for a long time though. My daughter Eloise, she breastfed so long that she could say, "Mama, Elodie wants to nurse on the couch under the tent," which means on the couch under the tent. Under the tent is under my shirt. So that's hilarious, isn't it? When your daughter can say complete sentences and tell you exactly when and how she wants to nurse. Oh, she's great. Well, Wilson, he likes it out of the tent. He doesn't want to be covered, and he likes this side. And so the doctor said just keep offering him this side because you want this side's milk supply to keep going. And I do, but it's just kind of annoying. But at night when he wants to nurse on me and he's just upset and cries when I put him down, I just plug him on this side so that he keeps making my milk come out. This position here is called a, do you have any idea? I don't know the actual positions. I could know them if I just asked Siri. So this position is going to be called the typical baby nursing position, because this is how your typical baby nursing is going to go. And they just they just grab hold and nurse like so. All about bonding with your baby. So you want to make eye contact, you want to talk to them. I love you. I love you. See, and he just loves it. Now we're gonna switch sides, and this position here, somebody recently said that Wilson looks like Harry Styles, so this is kind of like a performer's position. Notice the arc in his back, the flexibility. So then what he's gonna do is just gently dig his little dagger fingernails right into your chest area, and that's gonna be fun and leave some marks. Or like pinch your arms, which is really nice. You just connect with the baby. You know how he doesn't prefer this side? Sometimes what I do, actually pretty regularly, is hold him like this, which is called the football position. It's really something. Nursing is fun and easy. Also, moms do it where they nurse like laying down. We're really bad at it, so he's gonna be really confused why I would do this. But I don't know what that's called, but the on you position. He's doing it. Okay, sometimes they put the baby on the bed and they nurse like this. Oh, we pretty much never do this. He's doing it. This is sweet though. If your baby does this is so nice. Maybe you just rest together. What do you need to know about the Zuby? It's replacing the little mirror that some people have. We used to have it, but I got tired of it, so I wasn't using anything, and now I'm using this. It's the next generation of Zuby, so I guess it used to exist, and now it's a better one. Connects without Wi-Fi, has night vision. You can get a second camera if you want. The camera is inside the little plush giraffe, so Wilson loves it. He just stares right at it. The only thing is then I feel like he's looking right at me, and so then it's supposed to be helping you not be distracted while driving, and it does, but then I'm so distracted by his beautiful little face. No, in all seriousness though, I guess a study from the University of Michigan, hello Michigan, said that 90% of parents drive distracted with kids in the car, which I can definitely relate to. And so this product is going to help you to not be so distracted, because you can just check on your little one while you're facing forward, hands on the wheel, being a very safe driver. Also, one of the top reasons why people end up facing their little ones forward quicker is because they can't see them and they want to be able to pay better attention. So it's actually safest for your child to be rear facing, and this product is going to help you be able to do that for as long as possible while still knowing exactly how they're doing. It's a great product. Try it. 60-day happiness guarantee. I love that. If you don't love it, you'll get your money back. I think you're going to love it. I've loved it so far. Infant Tech is the brand. They make other really trustworthy baby products, and then Zuby is this product that we're talking about. Thank you so much, Infant Tech, for sponsoring this video. You'll find all the links you need below this, and happy momming. Hello, welcome back to my channel. We began this video and then we stopped this video so that we could change him, change me, feed him, And here we are, we're starting over. Breastfeeding and formula feeding. I'm gonna preface this video by saying, I don't really care how you feed your baby, just feed your baby, you're doing great. But I am gonna give you tips for breastfeeding and some tips for formula feeding. And my overall hope is just that you have a really good time feeding your baby and that it goes well and that you have a healthy and gorgeous little tiny baby that you have nourished yourself. Go team. So I'm pretty small chested. I have to put my breast in his mouth and have him grab it. On this side, he can hold on to it without me holding it. On this side, I have to actually hold it in his mouth. Stay hydrated, rest when you're able to rest. Sometimes taking magnesium helps, sometimes taking B vitamins helps. Fenugreek, there's nursing teas, there's lactation cookies you can try. Your milk supply is supply and demand. So the more milk your baby wants, the more will come if you let them nurse. This thing's awesome. Highly recommend it. You can put it on one side when you're nursing on the other side and it will catch your letdown, but you can also use it as a manual pump. I do that sometimes on my right to try and keep up my milk supply. I've heard of people pumping while they were pregnant just before delivering so that they could have some milk already there to feed their newborn. I did not do that. It does work. I think that's amazing. It's good to have breast milk storage bags on hand. You can buy them on Amazon. I was given a bunch, so then you can pump and have milk to store in case someone else is going to feed your baby a bottle. Bottles. There are lots of options for breastfeeding moms. I had not used them or heard of them before, but it's called Nano Baby, and they sent me these products. They look like, boobs. They're shaped with an indent here, and then it comes with a bottle warmer. It's supposed to warm your breast milk more evenly. So this bottle is specifically designed for breastfed babies to drink breast milk from. There's a company called Dr. Brown's that's really good for formula fed babies. There's bottles designed for if your baby has gas. Kim Kardashian uses Komotomo bottles for her baby. I know that to be true because I bought her some recently when I was working a job and her baby needed a bottle. With Eloise, people recommended that we don't give her a bottle for the first, I think it was like 6 weeks or something, so that she wouldn't have nipple confusion. I have said this before, I'm saying it again. I wish I didn't listen, even though I understand that, and if she had struggled with nursing, maybe that's what I would do, but she was nursing really well. And what ended up happening is we waited so long to offer her a bottle that she wanted nothing to do with bottles, and that made it really tricky for me that I was the only one who could ever feed her. It would even get to the point where I would work jobs and Sean or a nanny friend would have to bring her to me on location so I could feed her because she was refusing to eat with anyone else. So with Wilson, we did it different. We offered him a bottle the first week of his life. He did not experience nipple confusion. He nursed fine with me. He enjoyed the bottle. Takes a pacifier. Eloise also didn't get a pacifier. She didn't want it. She didn't like it. But I think that we didn't offer it to her early enough maybe too. So I don't know. That part I don't care as much about. But the bottle thing I think really makes a big difference. If someone else can offer your baby a bottle, whether it's breast milk or formula, I think that's so helpful. Just know that people mean well. So when your baby's crying and they're like, oh, your baby seems hungry, that's what someone would think who doesn't know your baby very well. They just assume a cry probably means that. You know your baby, so you're welcome to offer your baby milk if they're crying and they seem like they're hungry. But if they don't want that, then maybe that's not why they're crying, and you don't have to worry so much. So I have lots of well-meaning people in my life who offer suggestions, and I just say, yeah, thank you, maybe, let's see, and then, whatever. They usually are not interested. However, they may fall asleep while nursing. If you want to try and keep them awake, you can tickle their feet. You can put even a cold cloth on their face or a baby wipe. You can poke them, just something to try and keep them alert. But if they're really, really falling asleep, they may actually be done. And so you can put them down. You could ask your pediatrician. I feel like a lot of us are more nervous than we need to be about that. And it's a funny thing. They say if you're stressed, you'll make less milk. But then when you're not making very much milk, you're stressed. I've gone through it with him. And what I found is that it just takes a couple of days for your body to readjust. So when he goes through a growth spurt, it's only, maybe it's only 1 day or something until I'm making more milk, exactly what he needs. A few days after you have your baby, your breasts are going to blow up like you paid for them. I personally loved how mine looked because I had never had boobs before, but they hurt like crazy. What can you do? You can take a warm shower and express pump milk. It's like milking a cow, I imagine, though I've never milked a cow. That's just how I feel when I do it. Where you grab yourself and you squeeze and milk will come out. The warm shower just makes that process easier. You can use a manual or an electric pump to pump the milk out, because in my experience what was happening was my milk came so quickly that my boobs got really big and then my baby couldn't grab hold. The little mouth just wouldn't fit on that big, beautiful breast. So I pumped to make it smaller, and then they could latch, and then they could nurse the rest out, and that felt really good. Cabbage. This is an interesting one. My friend who's from South Africa said that whenever a mom is about to have a baby, they receive a gift of a head of cabbage. And that's because if you put the cabbage in the fridge and make it nice and cold, then when you're engorged, you can take a piece of cabbage leaf off and put it in your bra, and for whatever reason, I don't know the science of it, it will make your breast milk pour out like a waterfall. Both my sister and I did it together. It was actually amazing, kind of crazy. I recommend it. Why not? Cabbage is cheap, and that's a cool experience. I forgot how intense that is. With Wilson, after I had him, I could hear someone else's baby cry and immediately pour out. I was on Instagram and I saw someone else's cute kid, and again, I leaked completely out. You're going to want to invest in some breast pads. You can get disposable ones, or you can get ones that you wash. Whatever it is, you put them in your bra and they're going to catch the leakiness. That is when your breast tissue gets inflamed. It can cause kind of sickness. You may need to go to the doctor. They'll give you medicine. I have not experienced that with this baby. I did get thrush over and over and over again. That's a yeast infection that he gets in his mouth that I get on my nipple, and we kind of pass it back and forth, and it's uncomfortable for both of us. It looks like a white sores in his mouth. It's sometimes hard to tell if it's thrush or if it's just breast milk in his mouth. But multiple people had said it looks like he has thrush, and then my nipples started to hurt, so I knew that it was true. Also, he was sort of fussy and couldn't keep the pacifier in. Went to the doctor, got some medication. That took it away. We got it back. It's just been sort of this process. But right now it seems like we're not getting it. We've been going through a time of maybe a month or two of not having it. And I really appreciate that. I think the fact that we can have yogurt, he can have yogurt now, and the probiotics in that are supposed to help get rid of those things. If your baby has a tongue tie, that could interfere with the ability to latch. This guy has a tongue tie. My niece, Loie, also had a tongue tie, and the doctor ended up recommending that they snip it so that she could grab hold of the breast better. Consult a doctor, a pediatrician, a lactation consultant. They'll help you with your specific issues. What I found is the more of my breast I could put in their mouth, the easier it was, the less uncomfortable it was, the more they were able to grab milk. When they get a little bit of boob in their mouth, it like pinches. And so the more I could get in there, the less it felt like it was pinching. If you have cracked nipples, or if your baby just really is not nailing the latching thing, you can invest in nipple shields, and they look sort of like a bottle nipple, and that's just going to make it so that your baby's mouth is not directly on your nipple but on this shield, and that's supposed to help relieve some of the pain. You can also put lanolin cream on your breast and then let them air out between nursing. Having dry nipples is supposed to be helpful, like not having them wet all the time from breast milk. Usually your baby will still be able to figure that out. You can force it into their mouth. The nipple shield though is supposed to help that. It's painful, you'll feel it. It starts to feel like a bump or like a lump in your breast, and you can massage it out. You can take a warm shower. This company, La Vie, has a product, so you turn this thing on and it massages your breast and you can hold it on there. It feels really nice actually. And so that just gets in there and loosens whatever's clogged. That was Eloise. What I did was I started weaning the daytime nursings first. So I would not nurse her when she first woke up. I would not nurse her before naps. And she didn't love that, but I gave her lots of snuggles. I tried to explain it to her, and then she got good at it. I think it was just a matter of a few days. I will say it was a lot easier to wean her than I thought it was going to be. And then it took longer to wean her from the nighttime nursing. Eventually I just was able to feed her a lot more during the day and offer her a drink before bed instead of nursing. And then what I didn't expect, but I found to make a lot of sense, is that she was a lot more snuggly during that time, because nursing is a really snuggly thing that you do with your baby. So if you're going to not be nursing, be ready to give a lot more hugs and kisses. You just start introducing it really. For Eloise, she just didn't seem interested in food. And so what you can do is start making more of like an excitement happen around food when you're eating, like, wow, look baby, look at this, nom nom nom. Have them pay attention to it. With Wilson, I didn't have to do that because he was already really interested in food. Starting at about 4 months, he was grabbing for what I'm eating, wanting to hold the spoon. So that made it easier. Every baby's different. You'll figure that out. I'm gonna make a video all about solids. I started with a quinoa oat cereal. I don't know, I thought it looked good. Same with formula though. You can just offer your baby a bottle of formula, and if they don't like it, try again later and try again later. And with Wilson, I went on a trip last month and I didn't have enough milk in the freezer for Sean to offer Wilson, and so we had some formula that he bought and he offered it to him, and I think at first he wasn't interested, and it had to do with the flow of the nipple on the bottle, and they kind of figured it out. They switched out the bottle, and eventually he was hungry enough to eat it. What I've heard is that your baby's not going to starve themselves. So if they're hungry, they will eat eventually. Is such a common feeling. For one, I'll say, if your baby was like a NICU baby, or you have health issues and your life is just really being devoted to feeding your baby due to your baby's health, I want you to know you're doing a really good job, and there's not a lot that's gonna change for you right now because you're in this really special window of time. You are doing something so valuable and so worthy of respect and honor, which is keeping your little baby alive. And you may not have much time to do much else right now because you're in a really unique situation that's temporary. It's not going to last forever, but it really is hard. As much as you're able to ask for help with things, do it. When it comes to taking care of yourself, if there's anything anyone else can do for you to make your life easier, please ask. Right now, you're the only one who can feed this baby, so you just got to do it. And it's not going to last forever, and I know it's hard. If your baby is healthy, a healthy weight, doing fine, it is hard. It's just hard in general. It is temporary, just like the other moms. But anything you can do to lessen the time that you're taking to feed and pump, and then make leaving easier. So like for me, I have my pump set up in a particular place in the house, plugged in, ready. So all I have to do is go sit down and do the thing. There's not a lot of prep work required, and there's not a lot of even work afterwards that's required. I also can ask for help then with other things. So diaper changes, getting the baby dressed, anything that anyone else can do other than feeding, I try and delegate from time to time. It's a little easier now because he's older, so he's eating at different times, he's taking solids, he's sleeping longer, but there's this feeling in the beginning of being a mom where you don't really know what to ask for help in, and so everything feels like it falls on you, but that's not totally true. There is actually stuff other people can be doing, and it's a matter of handing off that responsibility and trusting that your partner, that your friend, that your parents can actually help with that. And breastfeeding in public sounds hard. I remember before leaving the house for the first time with Eloise and actually going out somewhere, Eloise was 3 weeks old and we were going an hour away to see some friends of Sean's. I cried because I was like, how am I gonna feed this baby? What am I gonna do if there's a diaper change that I have to handle out in public? Or I was just overwhelmed. Once I did it, I was like, yes, I can do this. It's easier than I thought. And that is true about almost everything to do with motherhood, is once you do it and find your way, it gets easier. So you just got to overcome that fear and that anxiety that happens to us all and make it happen. Don't be afraid of what other people are going to think of you when you're breastfeeding in public. With this guy, I have very little reservations about just whipping out my boob and feeding him because I want to get it done so I can keep living my life. With Eloise, I was probably a little more reserved, but I have since learned my lesson that I don't care. I just want to feed my baby and get going. I don't know a lot about formula. I want to know about formula. We offered him some formula. I would say when you're looking into what formula to get, check the ingredients, maybe do a bit of research. I don't love when the formula says one of the first ingredients is corn syrup. I heard that brown rice syrup is better. I can't give you a lot of tips when it comes to ingredients. I would say do what you can to find something that makes you feel good, and maybe check it with your doctor too. What I do know about formula is the way you make it is going to be on the can, And usually it's something like 2 scoops of formula per 1 ounce of water, or 1 scoop per 1 ounce. And you're not going to heat the formula. You heat the water and then you add the formula to it. Or if you're going to start with formula like straight from birth, which happens to a lot of moms, you could try just not heating the water ever, because then your baby won't need warm formula. They'll be used to having room temperature formula. It was something that my one friend does that I think is so cool, is that in her baby's bedroom, she has a thing of purified water like on the nightstand, and bottles with the formula powder. Buddy, are you so tired? Bottles with the formula powder in them already, so that in the evening they can just go straight into the room, add the purified water, shake it, you shake it, right?
Yeah.
And give it to the baby. And I thought that looked amazing and so fast. There's also this really cool thing that I've never seen before, but Becca just told me about. She's sitting right next to the camera, where you like put all the ingredients in and it's enough for 3 bottles, and then you like twist it and it comes out the bottom. I'll link that below. Anything you can do to make your life easier, moms, you should do it. I recommend it. So you don't want them to chug the whole bottle and then burp them afterwards. They are going to have an upset belly. So like mid-feeding.
At the daycare, we did it every 3 ounces.
Okay. You're just going to want to intermittently burp the child as you're feeding them. And when you're feeding a baby, whether it's formula or breast milk out of a bottle, make sure there's not air bubbles in the nipple. So you're watching the nipple and making sure that it's just full of milk, because if there's air bubbles in there, they're swallowing that air, and then they're going to get gassy and uncomfortable, and then you're going to have an upset baby. And if you have an upset baby, you will die. Speaking of nipples, they have different size holes, which is going to determine how fast the milk comes out of it. So when you're getting a bottle, you want to make sure you get one that's specific to your baby's size, so that you don't overwhelm them with too much fluid, and then they won't like it, and then it could hurt their belly, and then it's just bad. It's not coming out fast enough, they get bummed. If it's coming out too fast, they get a bellyache and they get bummed. And if they're formula fed, their poop is going to look different from breastfed babies. That's okay. You don't have to worry about that too much. But when they're formula fed, you can look to their poop to kind of help you determine if things are going well. I've heard that if their poop is green, that could indicate an allergy to dairy, so you might want to talk to your pediatrician about that. If they're really constipated, you might want to switch up their formula. Breastfed babies, though, listen to this. They might not poop, but like once a week. In the beginning, this guy pooped all the time, multiple times a day. And then around like 3 months, he started just pooping once a week. And now that he's eating solids and breast milk, he's pooping multiple times a day. Well, I don't know. You can talk to your doctor about that. It's okay to do both. It's okay to do one or the other. It's okay. I'm all about feeding your baby, whatever that looks like. For some of you, you just need to do formula. That just happens. For one of my best friends, Marie, that Eloise is named after, for her first baby, that baby just would not nurse. Like there were so many issues, and she was bleeding and getting blood in her mouth, and first week of life, it was very apparent that baby was going to be formula fed. It was traumatic for her. It was sad. She cried. The mom guilt related to formula is so crazy. But you know what? We just don't listen to the haters. They don't matter. Buddy. Okay, we're going to end the video because this guy needs a nap. Here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was helpful to you. If you have more tips or more questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. We can answer each other's questions. I love when these videos become like support groups for the people in the comments. I think that is so cool. I think it's all too common for moms to feel isolated in this process. And I want to build a community here of people who are looking out for each other and cheering each other on. And so feed your baby, have a really great time. You're doing so good. I know that it's exhausting in the beginning, and that's just life, but it's worth it. You're doing really great. I believe in you, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.